This episode of the MOC Squad was filmed in front of a live, members-only audience.
Hello, Rob.
Oh my God, it's a new year.
And
we're going to cause more trouble.
It's a new year.
It's a new day. It's a new year. Yeah. Demonetized songs. Can't sing songs. Yeah, no, it's great. Did you have a great holiday season? We were just talking about it.
Yeah, more than anything, just good opportunity to get together with family and friends. Had all the kids home for a good chunk of it. So yeah, it was really nice.
I just jumped out of the shower. My glasses are fogging up because I'm so hot.
Yeah, well, that's to be expected, right? I had a friend, my friend Ramon would wear his sunglasses. He was legally blind, and so he would have to wear sunglasses all the time. And people would ask him who didn't know him, they say, well, how come you wear your glasses all the time? And he's like, because when you're cool, the sun shines on you 24 hours a day.
All right. I love it. Yes.
So anyway, welcome. Sorry that it's been such a long time since we've had a member chat. The holidays just have a way of doing that. And, and Rob's been busy with True Noir. I've been busy with work. And so apologies. I know that there's been many of you out there reaching out saying, hey, when's the next members chat happening? So I know, Rob, obviously you had a lot of folks join you during the thousandth episode.
Yeah, and New Year's Eve was quite a party too.
New Year's Eve, right? So a lot of you did get an opportunity to connect with Rob, but here we are back once again with the members-only chat. So thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you for your patience. So as you all know, to make things work here, we're going to let you into the Zoom room. If you're wondering how do you get into the Zoom room, become a member of the channel, the Burnettwork, for as little as $1 a month. And you will get a link sent to you that tells you how to get into the Zoom room. And then those of you joining in the Zoom room will take them by the order that I get them here in the participants window. And I will give you about 7 minutes with Rob.
7 minutes in heaven, everybody.
Of course, that is up to Rob to decide if any of that time gets modified. So I'm just here assisting. Rob is the one piloting the enterprise here.
I've never been very fascist about that 7 minute time limit.
Not been. And then remember, you can also share super chats if you have comments that you want us to read here. And
also the tip feature works too.
The tip feature, I don't have access to that, but Rob.
Yeah, I always forget to look at that in member chats. I'll turn that. I'm looking at it right now. So
Awesome.
People know.
All right, so then we are going to go ahead, and we have a good number of folks who have been eager to join us in these chats.
Yeah, there's a lot of new members.
New members
and
names.
Yeah.
All right.
And so that's good.
So let's go ahead and let them all in. I know this is Rob's favorite part here, so let's go ahead and
the Matrix drop.
Oh, the Matrix drop.
Look, there they call everyone comes in.
Remember, as you come in, there is a raise your hand feature. It's at the bottom of the screen under, I think it's under reactions or react. So if you raise your hand, that will put you on the queue. And I
do have a hard out too at 3:00.
At 3:00. Okay, we know that. So if we need to adjust time, be aware of that. If we don't get to your question, we'll try our best to get to you, but know that we're going to do our best. Try to get to the point so that way you can get your question or your comments out there as soon as possible.
I never get to the point. Why should they?
They have to help you get to the point, Rob. That's the thing, right? All right, so then let me just go ahead and put Rob here on the driver's seat. So let me find you.
Our New Year's stream was over 8 hours long. How'd that happen?
That was I don't know how you're able to handle that. That's almost as long as your 1000th episode, right? I mean, how long was this?
Well, that went on for almost 17 hours.
That was 17 hours.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it was 1,000 minutes is like 16 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Split into two.
We've got our Bake Master General-ish joining us here. So
Bake Master General.
Ish, you should be able to join the call now. Welcome, my friend, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir.
Guys.
Good to see you, man. How are you?
Man, great. Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be first, so threw me off a little bit.
You are first.
Yeah. So how was your New Year's?
It was, I mean, we were here doing New Year's. I mean, it's so weird because in my younger days, I would have had New Year's plans like in advance. One of my friends, a producer friend of mine, was in Switzerland, went to Zermatt, and I was in Switzerland. I think I was in Switzerland 20 years ago when 2004 turned to 2005. Yeah. I went for Christmas and New Year's, and we were skiing in Davos for 10 days. And then we went down to Zurich. And it was funny to see. And I was like, those are the days. Boy, my life has changed. I'm sitting at home by myself with the dogs. I mean, Elizabeth was here. It was just I did nothing over the holidays except work on True Noir. It was delightful.
Yeah. Yeah, I just went to a friend's house and listened to him kill some karaoke.
Nice. Nice.
Not really. It made me just not want to listen to those songs anymore.
Well, at least you had friends and you were enjoying their company. Maybe not so much, I guess.
They tried. It was funny. It was hilarious. So it was all good. I enjoyed, the company because I saw a couple friends that I hadn't seen in a few years. So,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's always fun.
It was nice to see them. Actually, the person's house I went to, I've known him since second grade.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was,
his singing skills haven't improved?
No. She still sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh. Ouch.
But she's a lovely person, so that makes up for it.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you optimistic going into this new year? It's going to be weird. Whatever happens, it's going to be a weird, strange year, I think.
Well, from my perspective, it can't be no worse than last year. So
yeah,
I can only look forward and upwards. So I lost a lot of close friends last year. So
sorry to hear that.
So yeah. So I'm just looking for better things. So I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I mean it's maybe we live in interesting times.
Yeah. I already realized that I'm past my half-life. So
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like there was a job opportunity that I saw, and I was looking at it going, this is a really good job opportunity. And I thought to myself, should I apply for this? But then I realized if it was as good of a job opportunity as I thought it would be, I would go into it would be very, very busy. It would be very time consuming. And it's a great job and I would get paid good money. But do I want to spend where I'm at now in my life if I got that job?
Yeah.
It would take me past normal retirement age, I would imagine, if it worked out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, do you want to do that? And I kind of hopefully there's some interesting things on the True Noir horizon. We'll see where they go. But, people always ask me, do I want to retire? I'm like, when am I going to retire? On what?
Yeah.
I'm in no position to retire.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at too. It's like, then really, it's like my brother's, he worked, for the LAPD for like 30 years. He retired. And I talked to him. It's like, what do you do now? He's just like, nothing. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, I can't. I got to stay busy. I got to do something. I can't just, he moved out to Arizona and he's just, it seems like, honestly, it seems like he's miserable. So.
I mean, yeah, you got to keep going. You got to all of our, Clint Eastwood was directing a movie at 93. And by the way, Juror number 12 was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
93. I mean, I wouldn't want to stop working.
Yeah, I just, I feel like, if you stop, you die. So I don't mean to say it that bluntly, but I mean that's how, it's like you stop moving and you stop moving. So
well, that's just a physical reality of life. To be sedentary is the worst thing a human being can do. We were hunter gatherers, man. We're meant to be running around the veldt, either away from animals or hunting animals. moving all the time. So
yeah. So that's what I'm trying to just stay busy. I started working again with one of my friends. He has he sells golf carts.
oh wow.
So I go there and I help him out by repairing them. I go and repair them and stuff. So
Wow.
it keeps me busy.
Yeah, where we live here, we're close to a country club, and there's a lot of people that drive their golf carts, just like in Palm Springs and stuff, around their community.
Yeah, because his shop is in Glendora.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I'm like, when did they start allowing just golf carts on the street like this? He's like,
right.
hey, because and they register them through the DMV now.
Yep.
And everything. They just have to have turn signals and brake lights.
Yep. And it's wild. I mean, when my grandparents lived in Palm Springs half the year. So from the time I was young, I'd go down every year, and they had a golf cart, and they tooled around on it. I loved it when I was a kid, driving it around on the golf course. We'd drive out there, and it was yeah. And they're electric powered, so their carbon footprint's small.
Yeah, you'd be surprised at how many people, because they are electric and they're so small, they just neglect them and then they expect us to work miracles on them. It's like,
right.
It's like, dude, you gotta do the preventive maintenance. I go, come on.
Yeah, they're like any other thing.
Yeah, let it sit for 2 years and then expect us to come and fix it and know exactly what's wrong with it.
Right.
It's people amaze me. And for as much as they spend on them, you think they would take better care of them, because they're not cheap. No,
they're not cheap. They're like what cars used to cost when I was watching The Price is Right when I was a kid in the 70s. You always knew that a car was $4,000. It was always $4,000, $45,000. I remember when I was a kid and The Price is Right cars went up past $5,000. I'm like, oh, that must be a nice car.
Yeah,
$5,000. But there's a lot of golf carts that are more than that.
Oh yeah. The ones we sell are like at least like from 8 to 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not cheap.
And some of them are pretty luxurious too. Fine Corinthian leather.
Yeah, we have a shop in Malibu. They just sold one to Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably he needed what he need. I bet it's for the set of the 2 Avengers movies.
It was for his daughter. For his daughter's birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe not.
But it was nice seeing you get Rob. I see my time's running out, so I'm gonna let you get on. So some of these other people can have their little 7 minutes.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Ish.
Good to see you too, guys.
Have a good new year and good things coming this year. I hope.
Yep.
So,
you
all
too.
right.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. So let me go ahead and get lower the hand there. Okay, great. And coming up next, Rob, we've got
Julian
Mushkin. Welcome.
Julian and Jeff and Major Chai Chai were all, and Andy from Argentina. We were all hanging out till the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah, well, maybe you've recovered by now, Julian. Welcome.
That was a long night.
You guys, no one seemed to want to go away. It just kept going.
It was great. The first thing I want to say is welcome to the new year, but we already did that. The family and I are coming up to LA on President's Day weekend in February.
Okay.
And we're going to be spending Saturday afternoon at the Academy Museum.
Ooh.
And they're playing The Matrix at the Geffen Theater there in the evening.
Wow.
So we're going to be doing that. And so I'm extending an invitation to any other PGS people up in the LA area if they want to spend Saturday at the museum.
That's that theater, the Academy Museum, the Samuel Goldwyn Theater on Wilshire Boulevard, is the best movie theater in LA. Probably the best movie theater in the world. Well, it used to be. And I think tonight they're showing Videodrome and David Cronenberg's going to speak. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But
yeah,
I haven't been. I haven't
at the calendar.
Yeah, I haven't been to the Academy Museum, the new one. I haven't been to the museum.
Yeah, it's got some pretty cool stuff in there.
Yeah, and to see the Matrix, man.
On the big screen.
I can't. The first time I ever saw that movie, everyone thought because of Johnny Mnemonic that it was like a joke. We all went to the Warner Brothers lot. I've said this a million times, but that was one of the most fun times I ever had in a movie theater because it was so shocking. It was like nobody knew what they were going to get.
Exactly.
There wasn't, nobody had seen it. Everybody was like, what is this movie, The Matrix?
Yeah.
And you knew from the first 5 minutes, the scene with Trinity and all that. Like, whoa. And then I'll never forget how my mind was blown when Keanu Reeves, the red pill, blue pill scene.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It's classic.
It was great.
So anyway, any PGS people show up Saturday at the theater or at the museum? It'd be awesome. It'd be cool. One of the things, Tuesday night was really cool, but it gets freeform so much, and then you end up having, some people getting a little louder than others, trying to get their
loopy.
point of yes, and it's.
I was a little loopy.
So some of us, are like waiting for the right time, and then it's like, oop, never mind.
Yeah, it got a little crazy.
We were talking about fandom and stuff like that, and I wanted to mention some pros and cons about that. And one of the examples I had was that I follow a Dune Facebook page, and I was remarking on something that a person had asked a question about, and they were the number of people that like to be snarky and come back in and say, "Well, just read the book, man."
Yeah, it's really, I have to say that I think snark has done a great deal of disservice to fan discourse, because everybody wants to get like their zinger in. And it used to be, in the olden times, when I remember being on like AOL, early AOL. The thing on AOL, there was the Star Trek boards were great, and you'd have these long debates about things. And I think the problem now is that the thinking is very superficial. Star Trek fans in the day would ponder these minor little things that were brought up in an episode, and you could have a thread that went on for 1,000 pages of philosophical discourse about people trying to make sense of something, enjoying the exploration of the idea. And now everybody wants to, like, in one sentence, either shut a person down or deliver some snarky discourse rather than examine the actual idea that's been brought up. And that was part of the fun of being a fan, is you could have, you could sit at a science fiction convention all day and have a discourse about warp nacelles. Like, why do starships have 2 warp nacelles? Because they have to. Well, then why is there 3 warp nacelles on a dreadnought? How does that work? And people would take it really seriously.
Yeah. Does anybody remember Usenet?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Hi Rob. Hi everyone. So happy to be here. So I just want to make a quick comment. The thing that got me on the internet was Star Trek on Usenet, because none of my friends wanted to talk about Star Trek. And I know, Rob, exactly what you mean, because there were people doing wonderful episode reviews with lots of nuance and background understanding. Unfortunately, I don't remember the names, but then we'd get into long discussions like about how the warp drive works and warp factors and how you calculate warp factors and stuff. Those are wonderful days.
Yeah. And I look, I mean, Julian, the whole premise of me setting up this channel was to make it, like I've told you, like a science fiction convention.
Yeah. Like I've said before. Yeah.
Well, so what do you think? Okay. And I've seen these Dune groups, like people really mad about how they left Chani at the end of Dune 2. How can you've changed her character? I mean, it's not like when Jessica says we're all wives, at the end of the book. But I do think that Denis Villeneuve, just because she ends a little, the thing about Dune is it was written in 1965, and you do have to make it palatable to modern audiences. And the way they did things, like they have different groups of Fremen, there's more fundamentalist Fremen. I thought that was an interesting change. That's what adaptation is all about anyway. You've always got the books. I don't think those were necessarily bad changes. They were just different. And I think going into Dune Messiah, I saw that Chani can come back. She's going to come back to Paul, and they're going to go through that whole situation, just because it's like, guys, have a little faith that there will be some kind of nuance. Like you can change things and still make them okay. But everyone's like, I hate the way they ended the story. There's a girl that I stream with, Nerd Cookies, and she was doing these deep dives into Dune lore and was talking about how the character of Chani had been changed, and there was all these Zendaya stans that were attacking her.
Yeah, I saw some of those. I like Elaine; she's good.
Yeah, she's really good, and her research into those topics was very much appreciated. And it's like, come on, man, do you guys not? She's not attacking the actress. She's talking about the character of Chani as depicted in the film and as depicted in Herbert's books. Yeah. And I feel that's part of, we read these depressing articles about how no one's reading anymore. I mean, first of all, anyone who's a science fiction fan was reading. You had to read. You didn't there wasn't enough TV and movies that were science fiction related that you couldn't be a science fiction fan without reading. Yeah. Because the media, what are you going to do? Be an Automan or Manimal fan and talk about how great Automan and Manimal were, or the Fantastic Journey, which I like, but it lasted 7 fucking episodes. And Otherworld with Jonathan Banks. What are you going to do?
It was a wasteland.
Yeah. And so I'd go to conventions, and if you didn't read books, people would look down at you down their nose like I was an idiot. I read a lot, but if you didn't, you were an idiot. Let's talk about Star Wars. People would be like, no, why? Star Wars isn't really science fiction. It's a fantasy. It wasn't what it was today. So
I just, with the talk of him doing Dune Messiah, without doing Children of Dune, I have to question that, because the main reason that Herbert wrote Dune Messiah was to shut up everybody who kept on saying, Paul's a hero, Paul's a hero. It's like, yeah. Oh, I made a mistake, so I have to correct that. But then he went forward with the story. And so I think what the miniseries on Sci-Fi did by putting Messiah and Children of Dune together was actually kind of smart. And
I agree.
I would hope that Villeneuve would see that too, instead of just doing, because there is no point, because he's already gotten the point across with the heel turn, on Paul, other than the fact that, he's going to come out and say, okay, I've killed this many billion people now because of my jihad.
Right. Which they're not going to use that word.
Yeah, of course. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
by the way, go ahead.
Pros though is I discovered this guy named Warp Reactor who's going through TOS. And
cool. Okay.
I devoured like 4 or 5 of his videos, and yesterday.
That's hours. His name. All right, let me jump over to YouTube and see if I know him.
I like his takes. I love his enthusiasm. I watched him react to Balance of Terror, and he is such a Kirk stan that he's just loving it.
All right. I like his thumbnails already.
I suggested to him in a comment that he check out Inglorious Trexperts and Enterprise incidents that Scott Mantz and Steve Morris did.
Those are great.
Doing it.
I was on a couple episodes of that. Your time's up. But
well,
that's okay.
I'll give you a little bit more time, Jeff. I had a mess up with the mute control, so I apologize for the disruption earlier.
By the way, this guy's reviewing Robotech episodes.
Yeah.
And he's not even, it's not even like he's doing Robotech Masters.
Yeah.
Wow. By the way, Space Battleship Yamato it's on Crunchyroll, season 3 and 2002. Wait, and Rebel 3199.
Jeez, I haven't even gotten that far in that stuff.
Dude, the remake of Space Battleship Yamato that's been going on since 2012.
2199 and
it rules.
2021.
It rules. Like it's so look, I'm not going to say the Legends of the Galactic Heroes remake is nearly as good. It's okay. Because Legends of the Galactic Heroes is my favorite anime of all time.
Yeah.
And it is the greatest anime of all time. most people haven't seen it because it's really hard to find in the West. Although it's easier now, you can find it now. But the Space Battleship Yamato remake, I mean, they've basically the first two seasons, 2199 and 2202, remade the first two seasons of the original 70s, the Iskandar storyline and the Comet Empire storyline.
I have those on Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so well written. And but I just you were able to buy the discs. Bandai put them out in Japan. They were really expensive, and they had English subtitles on them, and they only did that for the first season. And then Bandai's like, nope, no English subtitles for you, buddy, which was great because they're like $50 a pop to get 2 or 3 episodes. So, you know, but then they released 2202. They released them both domestically here, but they haven't released 2205, and they haven't. I don't know when 3199 is going to show up. I guess I'll have to go back to Hong Kong and buy bootleg discs, but I hate doing that.
Or you get one of those players, the Blu-ray players that can play different regions.
Well, I have but they don't have English subtitles. That they have to be burned into the.
Yeah,
that's that. My first Akira had no English subtitles. So
me too. I bought my first Akira was the Laserdisc. I bought. I was at USC at the time. I've told this story before, but I found a poor Japanese exchange student.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, and he's trying to be all honorable. Some crazy American's like, dude, come to my house. I need you to translate Akira for me. And we sat. It took like 5 hours. Wow. And luckily, there's a lot of action in it. But people talk. Okay, what did he say? What did they? This poor kid, crazy Americans. I think he was impressed. I had a Japanese movie though on Laserdisc. I think he thought that was in 89, 88, 89.
And then of course the manga has so much more.
Yeah. But they have the great, beautiful box set of the manga.
Yeah.
So good. I just found out that the manga Blom or Blame, but it's Blom. They made an animated series of that was on Netflix. So I've got to get into that because I read all I just read all the manga of that.
Cool.
So
all right.
Julian,
thanks, Rob.
When you go to LA, I was at the Academy Museum when I was there recently, and I wouldn't be surprised if the reason they're playing Matrix and they play Videodrome is because there's right now a cyberpunk exhibit at the museum. So definitely go check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're members.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that we do whenever we try and get up to LA. We're even staying at the Roosevelt Hotel, dude.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah, they had one of the video booths in Blade Runner, you know, the phone booths, and they have and my most surprising prop that I saw was the controllers from Existence. Those fleshy kind of
oh really?
Yeah, controllers with the umbilical cord and stuff. They had some of those props there as well. So
okay, I got this cyberpunk thing pulled up. Let's see what they're showing. They're showing Existence is actually today.
There you go.
So Videodrome might have been last night. Ghost in the Shell, Blade Runner, Escape from New York, The Last Angel of History with Neptune Frost. Don't know what that is. The Terminator, RoboCop, Night Raiders, World on a Wire. Oh, I'd like to go see that in 35 millimeter. That's a German mini series. They're showing Akira, Sleep Dealer, Ex Machina, and Tetsuo the Iron Man. And Matrix is the last one.
Matrix, yep. Anyway.
Yeah, Videodrome was last night.
Yeah.
And, they showed Strange Days on Thursday.
Yeah.
They should show Brainstorm too. I was talking about Strange Days.
You were. Anyways, Julian, it was great to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Take care. All right. Let's go ahead and get Jeff in here. Jeff Bingham, welcome to the show.
What's up, dude?
Not much. I'm surprised I held myself pretty well during the New Year's chat.
You're pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one point where I felt like I was about to talk into a loop. You know, when that happens, you kind of you lose a train of thought, and then you keep repeating yourself. I almost had that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how that is.
Yeah. And oddly, when I decide to sign off, I usually take melatonin to help me sleep. And I don't usually mean to do that after I've had a good enough to drink, but I end up taking one without paying attention. And I think that's why I was about to crash when I did. So
Well, yeah, we were going for 8 hours.
yeah, I mean, you had said that, oh, this is the time to, say goodbye. So I, took your word for it. You went another 3 hours.
Yeah.
But even still, I don't think I could have gone another 3 hours.
Right.
Right.
No, I know how that goes.
Yeah. So something I'm curious about, I know it's maybe it's only been a few days, but maybe you've done a lot in a few days. I brought up whether you saw Baby Girl or not yet.
I have not. I was gonna go see it today, but I think I might have to go see Seven in IMAX.
I see.
Seven is playing in IMAX. Baby Doll is here, so I've got at least another week to see it, which I definitely have to go see. But yeah, I really want to, because Seven comes out on 4K on Tuesday, but they're doing an IMAX re-release of it this week. So I want to go see it because, of course, Fincher changed a few things. I want to see what those are.
Okay.
But yeah, I do. I really want to go see Baby Doll. Yeah, I'm dying to see
Baby Girl.
it. Pardon me, Baby Girl. Yes, I don't want to say Baby Doll.
Yeah.
Then I get into weird.
Yeah. No, I can understand why people would confuse that. But the thought was weird that I saw that movie before you, because when it comes to a movie of that genre,
I know
I'm more of a neophyte than you are.
Well, it's just there's so many things coming out, and I'm just
swamped with true noir.
Yeah, I have to finish it, and we're in the home stretch, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself when it's finished.
Yeah.
To Max, I'm like, chop. You got to write the next scripts. Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
So
but that was seeing Baby Girl was kind of like a big moment for me in terms of my movie going life, because that was the first movie of that genre that I saw in the movie theater.
Wow. And I hear it's pretty steamy.
Yeah, it does. It's much more low key than your beloved Basic Instinct, of course, but yeah, it does get pretty steamy in spots, and it's peculiar listening to audience reactions to things like innuendos and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've become so infantilized. We're all like little kids now.
Mm.
Although maybe I hear that Pornhub's been cut off in the American South, so maybe we'll start to get a little bit more adult about everything.
Well, of course, it almost seems like they're not mature enough to handle or whatever. Like,
yeah, I mean it's weird.
Yeah. Let me think about something. So, another thing that I was also thinking about from the conversation, like going to a different topic, was the way the MCU is going right now, and all of we don't know the future of everything, and basically we don't know our Avengers. One of the things that one of the reasons why I'm apprehensive about Secret Wars, at least based on what's rumored, I don't think we know what's really going on with it yet, but if it's meant as a quote unquote reset, the thing that doesn't necessarily excite me is that it's just going to be an excuse to perhaps do away with lingering plot threads the MCU has set up that they haven't really addressed. You know what I mean?
I agree. I can't tell you how much I was anticipating Infinity War and Endgame. I have absolutely zero excitement for Marvel. Zero. My love of the MCU was extreme. I loved, I anticipated the Captain America trilogy. I was excited about Guardians of the Galaxy. The Avengers movies I love them, and those four, it was amazing. And I think that there's action, and Deadpool and Wolverine did nothing to create any momentum. And the fact that Captain America: Brave New World had to undergo 3 major reshoots tells me that that's really problematic. And it's amazing to me that they have killed. And I'm not saying it. Look, as I've said, every franchise is one movie away from becoming great again. And Deadpool and Wolverine was kind of outside. It was kind of a goof. It had no real resonance, and that's why I found it so disappointing. mean, sure, it was fine. You know, it was a trifle, but I wanted something that was the first Deadpool. I thought was a great movie. But Deadpool and Wolverine, as far as the MCU goes, I have no excitement for it at all. None.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine didn't do anything. Like, well, here's the thing: I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine, but in context with the rest of the MCU, like, it's not. It didn't make me excited for anything else they got coming up because, it's like what made me excited for in the first place had nothing to do with the most recent MCU movies. It had to do with previous Deadpool movies and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah, and Marvel X-Men and Fox X-Men movies. Well, it's really strange in the sense that if you look at how they carefully curated, they made us believe in Iron Man, they made us believe in Thor, they made us believe in Captain America over the course of 5-6 movies. And then they gave us Avengers. So you always felt that there was momentum and that there was a plan. And each movie had its own story, but then they interconnected and made an even larger story. And now there is no story in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's all these like lingering threads, but there's no forward momentum. There's no who cares? And but yeah, and I agree with you. And I think it's been odd. And I think the whole multiverse was a real misstep. I understand why they wanted to do it, but it really doesn't. The problem with they haven't made us care because there's no stakes. It doesn't. I mean, if you have Wanda Maximoff, if you read the comics, like the Avengers Disassembled storyline where Wanda went nuts and killed Avengers because she was looking for her kids, and it wasn't set in the multiverse, it was set in the prime. I mean, you couldn't do that storyline after the Avengers were devastated by Thanos, but it didn't. What they did, they took that storyline of her going around the bend and using chaos magic, and she could have been a really formidable. She should have been the big bad, and they should have built that up over the course of time. And you should have watched her go nuts over the course of multiple films. So when she finally was unleashed, and that they should have called it Avengers Disassembled. Now we're getting Avengers Doomsday with this. Again, it's all a gimmick. I don't buy any of it. And that's the problem. It's all gimmicky, and who cares? It's inconsequential. It doesn't mean anything. The Fantastic Four aren't even from our universe. So who cares? I mean, I want it to be good. I really want Fantastic Four to be good, but I don't care. Don't care about Battle World. Don't care about Secret Wars, because all that it violates what they did with the first 23 movies, which was make us believe in that universe. And by definition, the multiverse, who cares? It doesn't, because nothing matters. Whatever happens is going to be erased in some conflagration of time or some timey-wimey reality crashing, so I don't care.
And there's been no focal point to the multiverse. It's been just all over the place, missed opportunities left and right. Even like you said with Deadpool and Wolverine, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. Here we had the opportunity to kind of actually define some aspect of the multiverse, and instead it's like, no, it's going to be the same as it's always was. It's like, really, we went through all that just to basically end up in where we started. It just.
And the TVA, I think the TVA ruined the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, it completely did, because it took the carefully constructed reality and threw in this totally fantastical concept that shattered the reality of the MCU. Yeah. Totally shattered it, just blew it apart, and because nobody cares. And the TVA, in its conception, this idea that it's this Terry Gilliam Brazil like corporate like that's ridiculous. And it's a bummer.
Yeah.
All right. Carl's right. He says in the chat, he says multiverse should be a cataclysmic limited event with consequences after. I totally agree. Yeah. They never defined it. It was whatever anybody wanted it to be. And I think, maybe I mean, I thought Ant-Man Quantumania that's totally off the rails.
Yeah.
That and Thor Love and Thunder. I'm almost like, what have you done with those two movies?
Yeah. Before we jump to the next member here, let's just acknowledge some super chats that came in are actually memberships. We have Mexican Iron Man has been a member for 47 months. So I just want to
amazing
a moment to acknowledge that.
By the way, I just want to point out that Mike, Mexican Iron Man, there's some question, Mike, if he's really Mexican or not.
Uh-oh.
I know.
I'm not gonna
his
get
paper.
I'm not gonna
his
get
paperwork.
into
It's an old joke, but he is. But his paperwork is questionable.
Martino,
He's not illegal or anything like that.
No,
It's just an ongoing.
Yeah, especially with the new administration coming in, we gotta be careful with what you say. So
I know, man.
Martino says Martino gifted 5 Burnettwork memberships. So thank you, Martino, for doing that. Hope there's some new members out there who took advantage of those.
He also sent in a super chat. So Martino has gifted me over the years with Playmobil toys.
He has
a licensed Playmobil, and one. I got to put the bird of prey next to it, but above me, can't see it, is the Playmobil Enterprise. And when I brought it out of the house and brought it down to the observatory and hung it up, I thought that the deflector dish was in the saucer section. I thought it was stored in there, and it wasn't. I couldn't find the deflector dish, and I literally was just moving stuff around, and it was behind. It was behind one of my 1/6 scale New Wave Toys arcade games. It was behind Tempest.
Okay.
And I probably just set the Tempest up there, and it just got pushed back, and I'm like, oh my God. Because every time I've walked into the observatory and see the Enterprise without its deflector dish, I get angry.
Yes.
And now I'm not angry anymore.
Unless it was the retrofit. It'd be nice if the Playmobil did the retrofit from TMP.
Well, that's what Tomy has that, that's coming in October. We're 10 months away.
Well, Martino, thanks for the $5. I'm not sure what the currency is, but thank you for the donation, and cheers to the deflector dish. Which is what he said.
That's what he says to the deflector dish. So and there's, I don't care. For me, that it's a navigational deflector is canonical. We can have arguments about whether it really is a navigational deflector dish, because if it is, why doesn't the Reliant have one? See, this is what we would discuss in Star Trek message boards. Why doesn't the Reliant have a navigational deflector? I mean,
it does. You just can't see it. It's a different type of deflector dish.
I don't know, man. I don't know. These are quite. I'm sure ILM didn't even. The guys at ILM look. The Reliant's a badass design.
Yeah.
No one knows how to design starships anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be very nice. The refit Enterprise and the Reliant were great evolutions, and then it went all to hell.
Yeah.
It went all to hell.
All right. Well, Major Chai Chai maybe will bring us out of hell. So welcome, Major Chai Chai. You should be able to join us. Welcome.
Oh, fuck. I forgot to.
Yeah, Robert.
I forgot.
Yes, you did. I knew you would forget.
I forgot. It just occurred to me. I got to bring them down. They're in the movie room, though. They've migrated. They're in the movie room.
The movie room? Okay. Yeah. Well, at least they're not in the trash.
Oh, no. And what I want to do is pin them up. I want to hang them. I want to have them hanging.
Okay.
Like, so you can see them, like, in the background.
Okay. You have to send me your cranial measurements so I can make you the helmet.
Oh, my God. I have to, I have to have Spock do the Vulcan death grip. I was not prepared for his attack.
Have your costume designer friends just get their tape.
Yeah, I'll do a head mold.
Yeah.
Shave my head. I'll do a head mold.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
By the way, this guy's YouTube channel, I got to check it out. I subscribed. Julian. That's my new thing, is watching young people rediscover Star Trek.
Yeah.
Either that or getting mad at Steve Shives. You ever watch Steve Shives' channel?
I have watched some. His first one I watched was about the lawyers in Star Trek, which I thought was hilarious.
It was hilarious. I have a love-hate relationship with his content. Yeah. But I watch it all.
Yeah. And so have you seen Nosferatu?
I have not yet.
Oh, Robert, you need to see Nosferatu.
I know. I'm gonna. Well, that's what I'm probably gonna do that tomorrow too. Okay. Today was a movie weekend.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I like vampire movies, so I enjoyed it more than the substance. It was.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I've seen some of it. screener.
Okay.
I know, and I love Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
And I love Robert Eggers. I do, but I want to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it on a streaming.
Yeah, you need to see it because there's some frames that are so exquisitely shot. They're just beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's why, because I love his movies. I mean his composition and just, it was funny. I was reading that he's like somebody said he's the intellectual horror version of Wes Anderson because everything is so composed and controlled. And I was like, that's interesting. That's an interesting. I don't know about that.
Apparently, I did not have my camera on, so there we go. Now people can see me.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I figure if someone doesn't have their camera on, I just assume you're either doing something untoward or you're naked. In general, no. So there you go, Castle Grayskull. You can see me now. Hi. Oh, and Eucalyptus, thank you for your very nice comment about my appearance. I appreciate that. On New Year's Eve, he made a nice comment. So was he hitting on you, or was he just saying it was nice that you were saying?
He said I was beautiful. He said I was a beautiful woman.
Oh, there you go. I love that. She's married. Just want to point it out. Come on.
So I didn't get a chance
for me.
I didn't get a chance to thank him for it in the chat on the.
Oh, that's we should start a dating channel. I think it'd be really fun to just, I could sit there and ask, people can tell me about their fandom experiences dating.
We could call it the Only Nerds dating channel.
Imagination connoisseurs
dating channel.
Yeah, we wouldn't want nerds. The Imagination connoisseurs dating
Only
channel.
ICs.
Yes, that's right.
So would you like an update on some of my stuff I've been making, or do you want to talk about other things?
Well, this is your time. It's your time to shine.
So, you want an update on the Dice Tower or on how Edna Mode's going?
Well, both sound interesting to me. I can't wait to see you dressed as Edna Mode.
Okay. So, well, let me. I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna show you my failure here. So this is gonna be ridiculous.
That's a failure?
I consider this a failure because because it doesn't look like my reference photo. Let's see if you can see that.
Oh, I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and so it's too rounded on the top. I mean, obviously I have to add more hair and cut the bangs, but it should look like this. So what I'm going to do.
Did you print that out so it would fit your head?
What, this?
Yeah.
I made it to try and as large as my head so I could
Yeah.
give it reference. But then I'm like, well, I need a flat head. She needs a flat head. So I went and got one of my uniform hats that kind of has a flat top to it. I don't know if you can see. So this is going to be the top. And then I'm going to have panels go around. It's almost like a Pharaoh's.
Yeah. Like Elizabeth Taylor and Cleopatra.
Yeah. So I think, and then I put the hair on it. I'm hoping it will look more like Edna. So there's that. That's the process on that. And then for the Star Trek uniform, I got this off of Etsy, the uniform pattern. It's for men, but to tailor it to me, all I had to do is put in darts. So
is that for Rachel Garrett?
Yeah, this is for the Rachel Garrett stuff. And then
are you going into this month with trepidation because you're going to see Rachel Garrett portrayed on screen again?
And that's why I wanted to do a watch party with you, Robert, so I could, just wallow in misery with somebody.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it, quite frankly.
Yeah, are you gonna put like a fist through the wall?
Well, the thing is, they've done some bad things. Like, I love Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah,
I've been watching her for 35 years.
Yeah,
love her. She was a Bond girl.
Yeah,
she was a Bond girl in 1997.
So.
And I've loved her. I love her, and
yeah, she's a great actress. It's just, yeah.
Well, they've completely destroyed the concept of Section 31. Since the second season of Discovery,
and having worked sort of close to that type of world, it doesn't make sense. So real quick, this is the chain. This is the screen accurate chain. Those are the fasteners on the inside of the Monster Maroon uniform.
Oh, wow.
This is $75 a yard. They don't make this stuff anymore.
Where do you get that?
I found it on Etsy. I have so yeah. So yeah, I've got, so I'm bit by bit, I'm
Is that
accumulating-
inside the flap?
Yeah, it's inside the flap.
So when you take the flap down on the monster, you see it on the inside of the flap.
Yeah, you have, it'll be like a length of chain, a snap, a length of chain, a snap. And that's
Right.
how they did the uniform. And I'm going off of this book, Cosplayer's Essential Guide by a guy
Wow.
named Pitgrass. So this is what I'm using to figure out the uniform.
Yeah, I haven't got my Savick yet. It's coming in.
Okay.
And Nanjin Tam Savick. But that's the accuracy of that figure is pretty amazing. Okay, with all the research they did, but that's gonna be cool. I didn't realize that's pretty
It's going to take me 2 to 3 years to get this, because I want to sew it myself.
right.
And that jacket is going to require some pretty good sewing skills. The pants I'm
yeah.
not too worried about, but the jacket, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I can't wait. You'll look good in it, Rachel.
Thank you.
The war is going very bad for the Federation.
Great
Oh,
to see
we'll
you,
watch
Major
Jeopardy
Chai. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Yeah, good to see you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I'll have another episode for you next week. You'll get it first.
All right.
So,
Rob, moving right along here with Krizik. Should be able to join us now. Krizik, welcome.
what's up?
Let's see. Yep.
Hey, hello. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good. You can hear me. I can hear you. We're talking, we're jiving. All right, great. So, New Year's. It's a thing that happened.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It did.
Now that's then we crushed a black. That's usually how you do it.
There you go.
No, I'm just kidding.
We
All right, so
not enough knits, too many crushed blacks. That's what I like to say.
oh my goodness. Well, there is a reason, sir, why they call you the cunning linguist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding,
Well,
Robert. Don't
no, there
you know.
is. I have many. I have a great resume. Not so much anymore, but
no.
no, it's all good.
Awesome.
But it was interesting. I was thinking about knits because I was reading about. There's a lot of stuff out there about Fincher's restoration or 4K version of 7.
Yeah,
and he was talking a lot about that.
Yeah, and it's funny. Well, it's not so funny. I mean, I'm here talking with you about this stuff. I wanted, in light to the artistry that someone like Fincher would bring, or anyone else would bring, given what you talked about last night on our observations. I wanted to give in the more extended answer to the someone in chat was asking me about what I meant with my comment that you had responded to, and then you had responded by citing, well, it's more of a collaborative experience, and the art comes through the collaboration between like-minded boffins, so to speak, all working towards a common goal, blah, 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 et cetera, which is absolutely true. That's how it works in animation. That's how it works in a lot of other things. So I wanted to take a moment, if you would indulge me, to sort of expound on where I was going with that. I was having a conversation this December with my composer. So you want to focus on my face again, as you often do. Just look deeply into my face. That's right. Don't look to the left, don't look to the right, don't look up, don't look down, right here. And this is my composer I work with on the game I've been so in depth in development on, I feel like I'm never going to release, but I will. And as you can see, he is the 80s. He is a person who I love and admire, and I've been very blessed to work with him for the last 3 or 4 years now on the music and audio for this stuff, a collaborative artistic musical experience that he cites that. Again, I'm more of a working man, meat and potatoes type of guy. I come up with ideas. I'm the person that was yelled at by my art instructors and stuff when I was going to the academy for throwing my art away once it was done, because I was like, I don't need it anymore. And they're like, oh my God, why are you throwing it away? But like, that's how I think. It's like it served its purpose. I move on. I've gotten more precious over the years, however. And I'm saying all this to say, to answer your other comment from a few weeks ago about why is it that we don't have good executives or people that understand what art is in response to the individual at Sony. So the reason we don't is because we don't have producers like John Davison anymore, or yourself. Now, I say that because I want to share this as well. Keep looking on. You may recognize this individual.
Yeah.
He is a person that both my composer Espen and I were talking about on our last call as we were wrapping things up for our background music for the game. And we took a lot of inspiration from a lot of the work that both he and David Whitaker, the sound editor, did, which if you're wondering, where are these images coming from, Krizik? This is coming from RoboDoc. So if those of you haven't seen it yet, please check it out. It's a wonderful, intriguing documentary about the making of Dallas, Texas's best little-known movie about a robot cop. And in it, they go through all the details. Specifically, here talking about all the work that David had to do to like cut out and reference out all the sound effects cues that would be in his master plates for actually syncing everything up in post. Something that I'm sure you've been getting very used to with the work that you've been doing.
Yeah, no, this is great. It's great stuff because you think about every time he takes a step, there's multiple things happening.
Exactly. And it's not enough to be like, oh, it's just that sound. It's like, no. If you put thought and heart into it, and that's where, for most people today, that's where the art stops. But if you have a really good team of artistically inclined people, including producers, executives, those that aren't necessarily the ones that can do the work, but they know what they like in terms of like, they know what they like to hear and they know what they like to see. So you get someone like John and Sol Lamita that will go out of their way and find every way to con the studio into giving him more money.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing about the I think one of the problems, as you know, in the business is because people just don't know.
Right.
Not only do they not know, they don't know what they don't know, and they don't know what they do know.
Right.
And so you need people that will come. Like, for instance, one of the things I'm really enjoying about True Noir is we came up with a workflow. I had to come up with a workflow that I understood because basically I'm working with Mike McDonald, my sound designer, and his team, and we had to figure out like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, the way one of the funny things about that, I said this before, every environment that we walk into, it's like, well, what does this environment look like?
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, if it's marble floors, how big is the room? So how big is the echo? Like in episode 4, there's a long scene in a prison, and it's like there's the echo. You hear the distant of the prison doors opening and shutting, and prisoners, but like it's not there. There's no picture there, so you have to be like, well, what is this? What would be in the picture? And so all this kind of stuff. You look at all this, like look at all the different the Foley stages and how much it's going to cost. I mean, this
was past our budget now because they Orion was budgeted, as you know, like well below board for what you would expect for a sci-fi type of film, which a lot of them didn't have confidence in, except for what's always that one executive that's like, hey, they've got the stuff. I see.
Well, I would love to get a Warner ADR stage for $14,085.
Yeah, no, right? You see these prices?
Boy, those are the days, man. Oh, wow.
So you'll have to like scale up for inflation, obviously, but you get the idea. So I mean,
scale way up.
It amazes me. So yeah, I just wanted to share that yes, the artistic experience is great, but I like the collaborative artistic experience, not the bespoke, I am an artist and my name is Madonna type of experience. That's what I was trying to get at.
No, and I really appreciate that. And that's the thing. I mean, when you're working on film, you have, especially in Hollywood, on every level, all of the technical people and all of your keys and they all know for the most part what they're doing. Yeah. And a lot of them have been like, I won't work with a colorist that's younger than 40 years old.
Yeah.
I just won't do it because, and it's not because I'm prejudicial against a colorist who's under 40, but I am, because they don't have the skill set. They never developed the skill set.
Exactly.
Working, and their skill set is unfortunately based on the last 15 years of Instagram filters.
Exactly. And that was why I chose to work with Espen, because he used to do session work with AHA. So, being Norwegian, that's what I wanted. I wanted that style, and he knows Vince DiCola, and I wanted that music. So that's what we got.
Yeah. And I think that's the way, and it's really, it's getting to the point too, where I think I'm starting to see it even in the movies that are getting made. I see that because people are watching less and less films from film history, I think that it seems counterintuitive that, oh, well, now you're just going to get, we're getting recycled and regurgitated ways of making movies only from the last 20 years that don't have, it's all journeyman work. There's very little visual innovation or visual interest. Everything is standard coverage. Everything is rather boring. Like, I interviewed the DP of Gladiator 2, and he came out publicly and said Ridley Scott's getting lazy. And I mean, he shot the movie, and he said that the choices that they picked were not great, and that you didn't have. And Ridley Scott's getting old, so what's the point of dissing it? But still, I understand where a lot of it's coming from, because we don't have a lot of innovation going on, and we don't have people that know the basics and the fundamentals, and it's a bummer. But
thanks for joining us, Krizik.
Always good to hear from you, man.
We got a couple of super chats here. We have Ken or K3N saying, Rob, I turned 33 today. Can I get a shout out? Happy birthday, Ken.
Happy birthday. You know, you're in your 30s. That's your Jesus year. Don't mean to get depressing, but you know how many people aren't with us after 33?
For better or worse.
But, happy birthday. It's a good year. 30. I had a good 33rd year. 33. Congratulations for making it this far. Let's see. So if you're 33 and 25, what does that take you back to? So that'd be 92. Were you born in 92? Is that right? 92?
Is that it? Yeah. Yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
I was graduating college in 92.
Man, I think I was working on Army of Darkness or something.
Yeah.
92.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Well, anyway, happy birthday, Ken. Thanks for joining us, and have a good birthday. And then we have a super chat from Joe Penora, $5, saying, out of nowhere, this just popped in my head. Mr. Kobayashi in The Usual Suspects, named after the Kobayashi Maru.
Yes. Kobayashi.
Right, because Brian is a Star Trek fan, right?
Big Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
And I don't know, to be honest, if Kobayashi was named after the Kobayashi Maru, or because there's a company name in the movie, and I forget, but it might have been. I mean, I'm sure Brian keyed on that name because of the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he passed away. That actor passed away. Who was in he was in so many things. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Considering I did produce the specialty. Pete Postlethwaite. Yeah, Pete Postlethwaite.
Pete Postlethwaite. He did pass.
Yeah,
away. Yeah.
He was great. He was great in that film too. He was great. I have to get that British Arrow limited edition release. Must own it. So, yeah, that's very cool. Thanks for that one. And yeah, Ken, 33. I like how he is. The 3 in his name.
And let's see. We're going to go ahead and bring in Channel Surf next. He has been having some technical difficulties, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Channel Surf, he should be able to unmute now and join us.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much, Roberto.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year to everybody. Great to be on. God, I got so much stuff to talk to you about, Rob. So
lay it on me.
Well, first thing
I see, by the way, I see in the background there, you and I are birds of a feather.
You got it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, did you go, and you and I both went for the chrome feet instead of the black feet? Yep.
Yeah. Those are the most accurate, I think. So that's
people are like,
I remember.
Why do you have 6-scale cigarette machines? To go with my change machine.
Yeah, they're power banks. Yeah, and I've got both of them. So
yeah.
But yeah, anyhow, yeah, my Steelbook just came in this morning.
Everybody's getting them early. Yeah.
So I'm really stoked about that. And interesting story on this one. Since you just were talking about the Warner Brothers Foley stage, that's actually how I hired into the studio. Was I knew the Foley artist really well, and got to do some work on the stage and over the years. So, worked there for 30 years in post, and Yeah, and I actually got to be on the set for 7. I had talked to Brad Pitt and a niece. Her father had unfortunately been killed, and she was having a real tough go of it, and she was crazy about Interview with the Vampire. So I got a original one sheet from it and asked Brad Pitt if I could get him to sign it. And he had me come in on the stage, and I got to sit on the set of Greed and watched. I was sitting in Morgan Freeman's director's chair, and got to watch them shoot the scene.
Yeesh.
And then when they came off, he signed it. The whole cast came, every crew all crowded around to watch him sign her poster.
Nice.
And yeah, she was thrilled. And yeah, this was when he was through the roof famous. So, but it was a lot of fun. And man, I can't wait to check out how it looks on 4K, because that set was so intricate. It was everything in that lawyer's office. You've been on sets, they go crazy, and like the smallest details. And when you see the movie, you can hardly see any of the detail. It was all.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing I learned. My first job was I was the art department production assistant on Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and the art department just crushed those sets. And the details, they were so you didn't see it. You don't see any of it on screen. I mean, you feel it when a set is really well designed, and the art department does a great job. But there's so many intricate details that I'm sure, because it was a Fincher movie, there was probably like an index cards with someone's call list. They probably all had because you never know what you're gonna need. Like if he wanted a shot where Brad Pitt's character rifles through the numbers or something, and you never know if he's gonna want a shot of that. So the art department can't let the director down.
Yeah,
you got to know.
It's crazy. You open drawers and stuff on sets, and there's stuff in there. I mean, stuff.
Oh yeah,
drawers that are never opened. And
because you never know.
Cool.
You don't know how if somebody wants. I want you guys to go do some business here, and we're gonna pick you up. Opening a drawer, there's got to be stuff in there.
Yeah.
So.
But one of the other things, a few times on Let's Get Physical, I had mentioned disc socks to you guys, and their disc sleeves, and just to watch, you guys were kind of like, and everybody in the chat were like, that's not what it's about. You got to put them on the shelf. And it's like, well, when you have DVDs and you get Blu-rays and 4Ks, you don't have space for everything, especially when you got a collection like I do, because I started in the DVD. I don't know if you recall, but I started doing digitizing the audio for the DVD. I was doing the audio transfers, so it was just me doing all of it for the studio for the initial release. And anyhow, I had mentioned to you this company. It's Disc Socks, and this company, and I don't work for them or anything, but they're really cool. This is from the clamshell of you could take the cardboard out of the clamshell, and
that's like what Dieter's doing with his collection. He's doing that.
Yeah, well, I was hoping you could tell him about this, but you could fit like 3 discs in this by itself. So that's really cool as well. And it also has a padded, discs segment in it. And you can also get, they make them Blu-ray sized. So this is an empty one.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and they also make these others that are it's what is it? I think you can fit 5 discs in this. So this is for the individual discs, and you can put this inside.
So if
you've got a multi-disc collection, like some of these. What was the one that just came out that's got like 7 discs in it?
Well, like the Apocalypse Now Steelbook has 6 discs in it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's a Steelbook.
That's what I was thinking. You could do that, but of course, who would want to do that with the Steelbooks?
Yeah, it's a cool steel. I mean, it's getting to the point where I've got my own little Criterion closet.
Yeah,
You walk,
yeah.
it's all there's a corridor you walk down, and you on either side. It's interesting because I do think that it's getting to the point where, I mean, I don't know if anyone saw if you know who the actor Tracy Letts is. He's a character actor. He was like the head of Ford in Ford v Ferrari. He's an old. He's 57. He's actually my age, but he's got like an incredible collect. He's also a playwright. He wrote Killer Joe and Bug that William Friedkin directed. Those are both plays. He was on like some big podcast. It wasn't a YouTube pundit, but it was
there it goes.
He's got like 10,000 discs, and he's married to Carrie Coon, and she was talking about his collection, and it's getting to the point where I'm like, I don't even know what am I going to do with all these discs. I found my Alien anthology. I've been looking for my Alien anthology disc because I found it in a drawer. I'm like, where is it? I've been looking for it for months, and again, I found it. I've been moving stuff around clean, and I'm like, God. Then I sat down and I had to watch all of Charlie's documentaries over like 4 days. I watched all the special features on the Alien anthology disc. And I'm like, I love this box. I love what it looks like on the spine. And I went and put it back on the shelf. I'm like, yay, me. But I don't know if I'd want to, but with the amount of stuff, you have to have a room. Those are not a bad idea. So, by the way, I love
Channel Surf. Thank you so
I
much.
love his top. I love Channel Surf's top shelf. There's many
he's
things.
got a very classy, organized setup.
Yeah, but he's got that Executive Replicas robot on the top shelf.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to get that.
We got another super chat here from Thomas Logan saying, PGS brethren, you gotta see 7 in IMAX this weekend. Fincher really went all out with the 8K restoration. The film has never looked this good. 10 out of 10.
I gotta go today, the afternoon.
All right, you got some movies lined up for you, Rob. That and
I know.
All right, all the way from Argentina, our friend Andy is able to join us now. Welcome, Andy.
Hola, Roberto.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias. Bienvenidos.
Hi, Ro.
How's it going? Good to see you again. It's been a couple of days.
It's been a long time. We're meeting in the 1,000 job, and the other day, and now the other day was 7 hours. I broke a record with you, huh?
That was crazy, but fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Now for 7 minutes, so let's just go quickly. I have a few thoughts in my mind. First of all, I wanted to just tell you just an anecdote. I've already told you that I work at a bank here in Argentina, and that's the reason why I get some free shit sometimes. And one of the things that I get is a lot of movie tickets. I get free movie tickets pretty much everywhere I want.
Wow.
Now, the thing is that apart from other people who like to go to the movies just to go to the movies, it doesn't matter if they like the movie or not. I couldn't find a movie that I wanted to go see for a really, really long time. I think that's pretty pathetic.
Wow.
Now,
yeah.
The thing is, Rob, I'm coming with this subject because I'm going to go see Nosferatu with my girlfriend, and I thought this is the first movie that I really want to go see in a really long time. And the reason is, and I was thinking about this, that is because we have had a few movies in the past months that we were expecting, right? Like Gladiator 2, like Alien Romulus, like The Joker 2, and some other movies that we say, oh gosh, this movie is going to be great. I'm going to go see it in the cinema. Yeah. And then because of reviews and other people I see on YouTube, I'm not going to waste my time on this. Even having a free ticket to go to the movie. I don't want to waste my time.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I don't pay for the ticket. I don't want to waste my time on this. And I have some examples that are either movies that are about the previous movie, or movies that are ripping off the previous movie, or movies that are made just to piss off fans. So why can't we go to see the movies? I have free tickets, I cannot use them. and it's so pathetic, because any other previous year, you have like 15 movies a year to go see that you were so eager to see, like when Marvel was good and all that. Even the Zack Snyder's movies, when Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, we didn't know that Batman v Superman was going to be a 5 out of 10 movie. We were really expecting that movie, remember?
Yes.
And then Justice League, whatever. But the other movies, like the first Wonder Woman was okay, and movies like that. Now, almost the entire 2024 passed, and every time an expected movie was coming, I saw the reviews like from you or other ones that this is gonna be a waste of my time. And I went to see Deadpool and Wolverine. And I knew that probably was gonna be, I didn't like it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had a great time. The jokes were making a stone laugh. All right, that's fine.
Right.
But the story, Rob. The story. Where's the fucking story? Now, you told about Alien Romulus. Aliens is one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't want to go see a movie that said, "Get away from you, bitch."
It was no. It's really
That's
interesting.
a waste of my time, Rob. Don't you agree?
I totally agree. And the funny thing is, having gone through the Alien anthology, just watch since you bring up Alien, all 4 of those movies. I mean, yes, Alien and Aliens are pretty much perfect, but even watching the assembly cut of Alien 3, it's an interesting film. You might not love it, but the assembly cut is really, it's interesting. And Alien Resurrection, while I don't love Alien Resurrection.
I'm an Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection apologist. It's not like I love them, but I can watch them.
And they're really interesting because they're just so different, especially, whereas Alien Romulus, to me, there was nothing in it that we hadn't seen before. There was no hook. There was nothing about it that I'm watching this and I kept waiting to find. So, like the fact that Aliens is a combat movie, the fact that you're dealing with Marines, and it was interesting, like, how would Marines deal with this problem? So that in itself makes the movie an interesting watch. And then especially the assembly cut of Alien, the idea that they're convicts on this planet, and Ripley shouldn't be there. And then Alien Resurrection taking place hundreds of years later. But Alien Romulus, all it does is give you a situation where it's literally a salvage crew. These kids are trying to salvage stuff so they can get off to go to this planet. And then what happens within the context of it's just the aliens are going to come out and stalk you. And there's nothing interesting about.
There's one thing that. It's not my intention to bring out some bad vibe, but the thing is that I really wanted to go see movies for the past, 5 months. And every time a movie was coming out was either garbage or subpar. And the thing is that we are always saying, it's like we are lowering the bar so much, because now we are praising a movie because it looks good. Gosh, the movie cost $200 million. Yes, it's going to look good. I don't give a fuck about a movie looking good. I want a good story. No, Joker 2 looked good, but the story was made because the director hated the fans that loved the first one. What the fuck reason was that to waste $200 million? You can make, 20 movies, 20 good movies for that price tag? I hate that. And now I'm going to see Nosferatu. Unfortunately, I think I'll love it. But that just wanted to chime that in.
Yeah, but no, but I think that studio filmmaking, it's now so risk averse that it's very difficult to see. I mean, look, I think Wicked was a really well made movie, and I think I enjoyed watching it. But it's based on a stage play, and it's something they were making a film version of the musical, so it wasn't. You knew what you were getting, and I have been depressed in the sense that where's the original? Studios are not providing the 80s. I growing up in the 80s, studio filmmaking, the studios were making the best movies. You didn't need to just watch independent cinema. The studios were putting out, stuff like Back to the Future, Universal. And it was a great time. And the studios now they can only make, because their movies are way too expensive. So you can't get anything new and interesting. You have to get something that's safe. I don't know.
Thanks,
It's a
Andy. And I'm glad Andy is able to tell us how he really feels.
Me too.
All right. We've got Marcus McGruber coming up next. Welcome, Marcus. You should be able to join the chat now.
Hi,
How's it
Rob.
going? How are you?
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Been a while. Just want to show you something, and I want to agree with you about the MCU and just not looking forward to it anymore, sadly.
I know, it's so weird.
It sucks. I loved Agatha, but it's like, yeah, when am I going to see these characters again in 3 years?
Right. And at least that was interesting. When a place, yeah.
I didn't think I was going to like it, because I hear the early buzz, but I need to stop listening to that because one man's trash is another man's treasure. I kind of loved it, especially the way they went there with the LGBT romance and all that. Kind of.
But it was also, it also felt organic to the story that they were telling. So it works. And I think that that's something that people forget. I mean, I think if you can go anywhere you want, if you make it organic to the tale that you're telling, not just shoehorn something in. But in the case of those witches, it worked really, really well. By the way, shout out to Aubrey Plaza's husband killed himself.
Really?
Yeah, they found him, and he was a pretty good indie filmmaker. And
recently?
It happened yesterday.
Oh, her current husband?
Yeah. They were dating since 2011, and they finally got married back in 2021.
Mental health is really,
yeah.
I don't know. That's awful.
Yeah, I'm sorry to bring that up, but sad.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. I didn't see that yet. Well, I want to show you something that I don't know if you know exists. I know you know the Man-Thing movie exists.
Yes.
I'm sure you know about that. The US release and most releases don't have any of the special features, which I'm sure most people don't care about because the movie's bad. But there was a steelbook that was released only in Deutschland.
I have never seen that before. Wow.
And it's one of the only versions of this release that has special features. So it has visual effects, montages, a bunch of really stupid deleted scenes that mostly don't feature the Man-Thing.
But you know what? Kevin Feige produced that. That was the 14th movie. He produced 14 films before the MCU, and that was one of them. And people always forget it.
Yeah,
wow. How long ago did you get that?
I just got it. I was looking for it for years. It's really hard to find. And
Yeah.
The only other time I saw it online was like a German eBay, and I had to translate. And anyway, they didn't get back to me. So
what did that set you back?
Like $150.
Wow.
So,
but that's a great get, though. If you're going to have that movie, that's pretty cool.
The concept art in here is really cool. Really cool. I haven't seen it online, and the visual effects montages are really cool. Again, none of these features I've ever seen on YouTube.
I've never seen that disc at all.
Yeah,
that's a great looking steelbook.
The inside has a really cool look at the physical, guy in the suit.
Yeah,
and I like the way he looked in the movie. I mean,
yeah,
for the budget and everything.
But that's can I see the cover again?
Yeah.
That is a great looking steelbook cover. Uh-oh. You froze. See, I made you so. It's the power of man thing.
Find one, and it was on Mercari.
Wow.
A guy in Alabama had it. So
wow.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe he'll show up again in the MCU. Again, it's like who knows when they'll get around to the supernatural side of things. We all know.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I mean, it was cool seeing it in Werewolf by Night.
He looked really cool, and I liked Werewolf by Night.
I did too. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed Werewolf by Night. We'll see where that goes. I mean, and with Agatha delving into the supernatural side of the MCU. I mean, to be honest, I think that was the problem with Blade. You know, they keep talking about Blade, but I think they couldn't figure it out from a script perspective.
Maybe how well received Agatha and WandaVision. WandaVision to me is still the best thing they've done on TV.
Totally agree.
It just felt like it took their time. It felt inspired. A lot of the kind of red herrings didn't turn out to be anything, like the beekeeper, but it was fun to speculate. It's sad to find out that these things aren't as well thought out as sometimes the fans think they are, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they'll produce some more good movies and things that I'll like, but overall, you know, my dream is to have the original X-Men show up, but after seeing Deadpool and Wolverine and Spider-Man Far From Home, or no, whichever one
No Way Home, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think it will be done well. I don't think the story, they'll just be there to be there. And so am I excited to see that? Maybe, you know.
Look, I'd love to see, I just don't know. Like, to be honest, I was really excited to see the portrayal of the X-Men in Deadpool and Wolverine. And I was really sort of, to be honest, disappointed because
Storm, why is she posting that haircut? I was literally thinking, oh, Halle Berry's going to show up and that's going to be my favorite part of this movie. And that didn't happen. And Elektra, they didn't even give her one cool thing to do. So why bring her back?
No, the tone, it was really, that was another hugely disappointing thing about that movie. I mean, you have to go, I never want to say you have to judge a movie on what you got and not what you didn't get. But I thought I was going to get a combination of Deadpool 1 and Days of Future Past. That had humor in it. But like, I really love Days of Future Past. It's not perfect, but I do love that movie. And if I'm a huge X-Men comic fan, and they're my favorite Marvel superhero team, and I would love to see them. But it's all a tone issue. And I feel that the MCU is not taken, like, I don't want, look, I don't want to see Channing Tatum's version of Gambit ever again. I'm like, come on, dude. You know, I mean, really, it really bothered me that he was, you know, it was like this joke version of Gambit. And I'm like, why are you doing that?
I saw it once and didn't care to see it again.
Me too. I didn't even buy it. It's the only Fox X-Men movie I don't have. Well, it's not. It's Marvel, but it's the only Marvel movie I don't have. So
yeah,
but
I mean, I'm not interested in buying it either. It's just it upset me because I'm like, oh, is this the best we can do? Because this was supposed to be their comeback.
Yeah.
Remember what the plot of the movie was? Like, what were they trying to save? Which universe got saved at the end? I just, yeah. And like I said, to me it feels like we're gonna get that OG X-Men cameo in Battle World or whatever, but the setup's not going to be there, so who cares? You know,
right? That's the problem. That's the whole multiverse and Battle World stuff doesn't have setup, and you're going to jump into Doomsday, you know, and you're going to have to deal with Robert Downey Jr. being Dr. Doom. I would have made a movie about that because people are not going to just immediately accept Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. You got to make them believe. So we'll see.
Yeah. There's been very little stakes set as to what the confluence of multiverses is doing to the universe or anything. There's no.
We don't even know what
understanding.
There's no Avengers.
Yeah.
I mean, after the battle with Thanos, where the event we don't have no idea.
Yeah. Well, there's rumors that that's what the asterisk at the end of the Thunderbolts title is supposed to imply, but. who wants that group to be the Avengers?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there is no
Ben Shepard is here. Welcome, Ben. Let's go ahead and get you join the conversation. Welcome, Ben.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hello. Good evening. Yeah, not too bad. On yourselves?
Well, we're in there. We're fighting, fighting the good fight. Welcome to 2025.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Is it too late to say that now?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
In California.
What's that?
How's things over in California?
They're not bad. You know,
Yeah.
it's a little cool, but it's, you know, California never gets, I mean, if it gets down to like 50 degrees here, it's people are like, oh, it's cold.
Well, it's about -1 degree in the UK. Well, where I am in England, and in the UK we can't cope with any kind of extreme weather at all. So, yeah, there's a little bit of snow outside, so everything stands at a standstill. So, yeah, it's be interesting tomorrow morning after the snow tonight, really. So, we'll see tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I've seen well, I'll just ask you a few questions, really. So, I've seen a few films over Christmas as well, and sort of catch up time on movies, and I saw Joker Folie à Deux last night.
Okay, what'd you think?
And well, I had heard obviously the negative reaction to it, and I love the first film, but I didn't mind the second one, to be honest. Really,
yeah,
it's about what I thought it was.
I mean, it's so funny to me because I don't think people watched Joker Folie à Deux. I think they just decided to hate it because it's an interesting film. And while it might not be the movie you wanted to get, it's not like it's awful. Like Highland, it's beautifully made. And I just watched it for what it was. I wasn't a huge fan of the first Joker. I liked it, but it was like, okay, I get it. I understand. But I thought Joker 2 was really interesting. And it was beautifully made. I really liked watching it. And I didn't have any reaction to it based on, oh, this isn't the movie. I didn't want this kind of a movie. I didn't have that thought about it at all, and I thought it was really interesting. So yeah, I enjoyed it more.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it as well. Really, I mean, can we talk spoilers or not?
yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, I just see how much to check. Yeah, so I mean, I think like sort of Todd Phillips, he sort of played a joke on everyone, like the fans, the kind of like the anticipation for what kind of film it's going to be. Obviously, it's a rejection of the Joker character, and do we get the kind of the Joker at the end of the hint of the Joker at the end of the film with the murder of Arthur Fleck? Was that the Joker?
Yeah, but I even think that he was poking fun at the audience. Like, here's what you want. Here's what you wanted, audience. I mean, you know, if you know where Todd Phillips has a punk rock background, he made a documentary about Gigi Allen, the punk rock singer, and you look at, and I think that was kind of like, if he didn't want to make a sequel to Joker, I thought the message of Folie à Deux was a good message. I mean, it had something really interesting to say about our culture, and that alone made him intellectually fascinating to me. I mean, it wasn't everybody wants to see a Batman villain, you know. It's like that's not what the movie was even about.
Yeah.
So
have you seen A Heretic with
I loved Heretic.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it as well. I loved it.
And again, because it was thoughtful and it was really interesting. Look, I'm a Hugh Grant fan, and watching Hugh Grant playing these bastards over the last couple of years, whether it's in Guy Ritchie movies like in Gentleman or something, he's having the best time ever, and he killed that role. Yeah, he crushed it.
Right.
It was so good.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. Yeah, I saw quite a few. I mean, I saw Superman with the Christopher Reeve documentary.
I love it. Yeah, it's so, but it's so sad.
Oh yeah, it's so sad. Yeah, that was it was a great documentary, but really, really sad. I did see Transformers 1. Now, I vowed not to see that for many months.
I haven't seen that.
I'm a big fan of the original Generation 1 series from the 80s. And I saw the trailer, and I hated the trailer back in the summertime. And then I heard John Campia being raving about how good it is for months and months. I thought, okay, let's just give it a go. And I loved it. I was totally totally changed, really. They played loose with some of the canon from the original series, but it was great. I thought really impressed by that.
And he's an old school Transformers guy too.
Yes, he does love it as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of the things like some of the canon was they played loose with that, but yeah, it was great for it's a little bit kind of kiddified, if you know what I mean, really. It's,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
but for what I went in hating it, and then I was pleasantly surprised with it, really. You know, so yeah, I mean, I think yeah, I saw as well today ISS, the movie spent the international
about
space
the
station.
Russians and the
yeah. So that was okay. Yeah, it wasn't
okay.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, sort of catch up time movie wise, really. And I got is it Thanksgiving, the Eli Roth movie?
Yeah, I haven't seen
as
that
well?
either.
I'm gonna watch that probably tomorrow night, really. So yeah, it's kind of catch up time moment, really. So yeah, lots to watch. So have you seen anything good recently?
I liked
could recommend?
Conclave. You know, I
Right.
like Conclave, and you know, I liked Wicked. You know, I
haven't seen
thought
that yet.
I thought Wicked was. I mean, for what it was, I really enjoyed it. I mean, when I was a kid, I saw The Wiz, the black version of Wizard of Oz, the musical. I like that. I mean, I like that world, but Wicked is beautifully made. The performances are great. I thought it was great, and I did, as I said, I watched some of Nosferatu because I felt guilty watching it on as a straight because for an Academy screener, I've got to go see it in the theater. But it's I love Robert Eggers, and it looks, you know, it looks amazing. So
yeah,
but
I want to see that.
Yeah, and Conclave I read the book that Conclave was based on, so I liked Conclave a lot. I thought Ralph Fiennes was incredible in it.
Is that the Catholic Church in?
Yeah, the choosing of the Pope, and it's funny because can't say this, but I guess it has there's a bit of a twist in it that a lot of people, but the twist was in the book, so it's not like it seems like it's playing on recent, maybe a little bit of identity politics, but that was in the book, so it's not like they injected that into the movie. And but that's about. I saw We Live in Time, the Andrew Garfield Florence Pugh movie. I was sad, but great performances. Their chemistry together was great. I love Florence Pugh. She's great, but I really like that film a lot.
There's a lot to see.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing that's been blowing me away that like, oh, I have to go buy that. I have to own that on disc. You know, and that's kind of a bummer. I mean, I want to see a movie that I really love. Like, oh, I love this. I have to see it again. I have to go buy it on disc. I've got to.
Have you seen? Have you guys seen Emilia Perez on Netflix?
I have not.
I highly recommend it.
It might win a lot at Golden Globes tomorrow night. Oh, and I saw Anora. I really liked Anora, but I haven't seen Emilia Perez. I didn't realize it was on Netflix already.
It is. It has been since October.
Oh wow. Okay.
I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I really want to see that.
I think that one and The Substance are my top two movies of the year for me.
Well, and The Substance was just so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like, wow.
I hear
Even though it was derivative, but it was so much fun. Loved it. Don't care.
Well, Ben, yeah, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
And I liked Gladiator too.
Yeah.
But it's not good. I mean, it really isn't. You know, I've seen it twice, and the first time I saw it, I really because I love Gladiator, but Gladiator 2, yeah, but I did like, yeah.
Well, thank you to Ben for joining us.
Good to see you, Ben. Thanks for being here.
List of movies there to check out. Couple of messages to share here. The Slacker guy became a member, so maybe he took advantage of one of those memberships that Martino purchased, or maybe he got one on his own. But thank you for joining us, Slacker guy. And all the way from New Zealand, RRTNZ might not be able to stick around to talk. So happy New Year, Bob, Roberto, and PGS. Chuck Norris could throw the One Ring into the fires of Mount Doom while he was still standing in the Shire. Indeed.
Yeah.
That's a version of the Lord of the Rings I'd like to see with Chuck Norris.
He's having a pint of ale and he just throws it.
Yeah.
Not a very compelling story, though.
Very short film. Yeah, a very short film. Okay, we got Modesty Maltese here about to join us. Let me go ahead and bring her in. Hello, Modesty. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
What's
Hola.
up? How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and to everyone, and happy birthday, Rob.
We're 11 months into that joke. It's never going to get old.
It never gets old, never. I don't have much time, so I'm looking forward to Nosferatu. I'm watching it on Wednesday. I watched The Conclave, and I was bitterly disappointed.
Oh, were you?
It was so boring, for God's sakes. And Ray Fiennes is the most boring actor.
No, he can do no
Absolutely
wrong.
boring. No, he is. You should have seen him in the theater. He is just always the same. And I was really disappointed by the whole script, because Harris is lazy. He did no research. Conclave cannot happen that way, because papabili, guys who are actually candidates for a pope, are vetted in advance. So everything that is happening in the film cannot happen in real life, because they literally go through the Inquisition, and the conclave knows every possible secret. And the trick is, if the Catholic Church thinks they can defend whatever they've done through life, then they will become candidates for the Pope. Ratzinger, who was a Nazi, basically became a pope. So that meant they could defend it. So that really got on my nerves, because it's lazy writing, even, in Angels and Demons, in the book, not in the film, because the film is really bad and it distorted the book completely, but the book is quite good. And in that book, actually, the conclave process is very well depicted to perfection. And this was disappointing. I was rooting for, this is not a spoiler, I was rooting for Ray Fiennes' character to manipulate them all, to play this humble guy, and then the final shot, if that was my film, the final shot would be him getting on the balcony as the new pope, with this pure ambition seeping out of him. And that would have been, yes, Kaiser Soße moment of the conclave.
That would have been a great ending.
Yeah, that would have been great. But this, I knew the moment that character, I'm not spoiling anything, showed up, I said to my friend, this is the new pope, even without knowing, because the setup was so obvious in the film. And also the cinematography rip-off Paolo Sorrentino and his young pope. I mean, hello, you are not Paolo Sorrentino, so that's a rip-off, so it's really pitiful. So the whole thing was boring. Thank God for the recliner seats, because we have recliners. That saves me. That saved me through Gladiator 2. So that saved me through the conclave.
You must have really hated Gladiator 2.
No, actually, it was Gladiator 2.0, because everything was exactly the same, but worse. And it was like, okay, let's make some money now. Let's, do 2.0, also bad choices. And of course, we have to have Pedro Pascal, because he's in everything. I might, find him in a stew tomorrow, because just popping out, like, here I am in your food, because that's now, they cast Pedro Pascal for everything. He's a great actor, but not that great. So it's a bit of an overload of Pedro Pascal everywhere. The only thing I liked about the conclave was the guy who played the conservative Italian pope. That was like my highlight. I wanted more of that guy. He was the only, direction was bad. Isabella Rossellini was hating Ray Fiennes in one scene and loving him, and in the other, it's bad direction. It's like actors didn't know what they were supposed to play. Stanley Tucci should have given something to cook, because otherwise, what's happening there. So it was.
Wow, this is my favorite roast of a movie all year that I'm hearing right now.
Yeah, it was horrible. But I want to tell you something else on the tail of what Andy from Argentina said. He mentioned Alien, and I watched The Tempest in the theater with Sigourney Weaver as Prospero. So
Right.
I want to do something. I hope I have time. That you usually do. I have an article. I'm going to read just a bit of it. The article is from The Guardian, and it's called, the title is Sigourney Weaver's Prospero may finally set us free from this celebrity Shakespeare indulgence. And it's actually about Hollywood stars acting in the theater on West End and what happens when they do.
Oh,
so
no.
Very briefly, I'll just read something. In 1986, Sigourney Weaver completed her second Alien movie and returned to New York's off-Broadway scene to prove she could do Shakespeare. For Aliens, she received an Academy Award nomination. For Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, she received this review from the New York Times. The Merchant of Venice marks the local Shakespearean debut in the role of Portia of Sigourney Weaver, and in all candidness, this is not Mrs. Weaver's finest 3 1/4 hours. Together, the director and the star seem disoriented by Shakespeare. So I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but it's literally that. It was sad to watch. The ensemble was really good in The Tempest. But Sigourney Weaver was like a person, English is my second language. And I can recite to be and not to be in a way that you can really understand what I mean by it.
Yes.
And she couldn't. It was a second language to her without understanding. She knew the lines that were completely flat. She didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
And I felt that she felt it. She knew how bad she was. So she looked physically small. She looked feeble. She looked really, I felt sad for her, really sad. And I think the actors felt the same way. So this whole celebrity crumbles completely. That should be a film, really a good film, how a celebrity crumbles on stage. And, you know, in my mind, I was comparing her with Derek Jacobi, whom I was watching in the theater, and he's a small man of a small stature. And in that role of Don Jose, he literally looked as if he was 7 feet tall.
Yeah, well, okay.
He was so powerful. And then you think, oh my God, how different these two media are, film and theater. It's amazing.
You've made a great point. I mean, I have to say that I think this is so prejudicial, but to me, it's almost as if Shakespeare belongs to England. And that any actor, I mean, all British actors, if you look at all of our favorite British, I know Ralph Fiennes is different for you, but the British actors.
So that in the theater, he yells constantly like a maniac. And we're like, we can hear you. It's fine. Don't yell.
But I mean, the Royal Shakespeare Company, it's almost like a rite of passage. You look at all these. Once you've understood Shakespeare, you can play anything.
True. The counter example to that is what's his name, who plays Loki?
Oh, Tom Hiddleston.
Yes, he's a very bad actor in any film. He's barely watchable.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, though, I can understand that I think that he has a presence. I mean, I liked him in High Rise, the movie High Rise, if you've seen that. But the thing is, there's something about learning how to act and learning the classical nature of Shakespeare's plays that when you are playing that, like you said, Sigourney Weaver doesn't really come out of the theater, and if you, there is no American tradition. Our American screen actors, for the most part, are not Shakespearean actors, and they never go through a process where they're learning Shakespeare. And I think, to me, the whole Western canon, to understand Shakespeare is to understand what it means to act in English, because it isn't the vernacular is different, the language, the words are different. But if you don't, like, I remember reading as a kid, reading Shakespeare, they would make us read like we read Romeo and Juliet. And I even back then, like the 5th grade, I always thought to myself, I don't understand these words. Even as a little kid, I'm like, I can read them, but I'm understanding half of the meaning in these words. And I think that happens to a lot of us in the United States when we're trying to read Shakespeare. We don't get it. Like you said, if you're alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well, or it's what it's dreamt of in my philosophy. You talk about Hamlet. I don't think that, like, I was watching the Richard III, Ian McKellen's Richard III movie, where it's set. That movie is fucking awesome, and I love that. Look, I love Kenneth Branagh as Henry V when he's giving the St. Crispin's Day speech, because I'm like, oh, now I get it. Like,
I must say, when Kenneth Branagh does anything Shakespearean, it's like seeing it for the first time. It has life. Every sentence is alive. You understand all the levels of meaning. But just to your point, you're right, because kids in the UK, they grow up making plays, school plays, Shakespearean school plays.
Yeah.
So even the worst of acting kids had that experience of chewing through that language and getting to the meaning of it and how to express that meaning. And it's a process. I was, for example, rehearsing To Be and Not to Be, and I can really deliver quite a nice To Be or Not to Be. But it took me 2 months of just going through that passage. It's difficult. And, I'm no Sigourney Weaver. She's paid to do that. And it was really sad. I was like, don't do this to yourself, woman. Be Ripley, we love you. And she got standing ovation in the end, not because she was good,
right?
Because she's Ripley. And that was, it was kind of sad.
No, I'm with you, and it's hard to talk like this way, but Shakespeare to me is very, very interesting, because trying to read it is hard for me, because I'm a big avid reader, and I have to slow down, and I get frustrated. But watching Shakespeare, especially, I was talking about Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet, which Olivia Hussey was my first Juliet, and I loved that movie when I was a kid. And seeing Shakespearean, I loved, like Kenneth Branagh, seeing Henry V, or seeing his Hamlet, or watching McKellen in that cool fascist version of Richard III. I mean, now is the winter of our discontent and all this. Or even like Baz Luhrmann. I feel like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet is like the first Americans get that. Like, you watch Baz Luhrmann, do you bite your thumb at me, sir? And then people get what that means, and the way he did like the most Americanized version of Shakespeare, so you get it and still use the language. But yeah, I would feel bad, because I think a lot of American actors are lost adrift. But yeah, what a bummer.
It was great to see you as always, and again, thank you for holding back on those opinions. We appreciate your.
but that's why we would come here. But by the way,
totally.
Just remind that I have that Richard III. It's sitting right here. That movie, if you haven't seen Ian McKellen and Richard III, it's great.
Yeah, I love the scene where he's saying a kingdom for my horse, and his Jeep is stuck in the mud.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Well, because it's funny, because then you you get all of that.
Sure.
You know, we as Americans, we're like, what do they mean?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the time by doing it that way, you're like, oh, now I get it.
Now you get it. All right, we've got Cult Cinema 83 joining us next. Welcome, Cult Cinema.
The newly named. I'm still getting used to the name. Cult Cinema 83. It's a good name.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, first of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Let's hope 2025 is going to be a great one in terms of physical media, but also movies itself in cinema.
I hope so. A lot of sequels, though.
Yeah, I know. I want to applaud Dave, though, for his little rant, because that was great. And he's right. I agree. Joker 2 sucked. But anyway, but it's, yeah. But I mean, it's an interesting start of the year, because who would have figured that I would be more excited for an MCU movie than a DC movie? Because I'm much more of a DC guy, as you know. But I'm more excited for Brave New World than I am for Superman. So
I can understand. I want Brave New World to be great. I really do. But the productions, and I just think, again, the great thing about the Captain America franchise is those 3 movies are really, really great because of how grounded and they deal with politics. And, watching Thunderbolt Ross turning into the Red Hulk, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'll keep my fingers crossed.
That's my comic book child coming out, because that's like it's Brave. To be honest, I mean, I'm not as high on the MCU as most people, as you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, the Brave New World is it looks like it's finally gonna be the movie that I wanted to get.
Right. Right. Well, that might, yeah. That could be.
Like, you have Leader and Red Hulk, and it's like it has all this stuff, and it's look, the story has to be good, of course, but
yes,
like it's and it's also, of course, I think we're going to get forward momentum, because we have Tiamat, of course, and it's going to be introducing adamantium, but it's like, I don't know. I've from the letter that I sent to you, I rewatched the Superman trailer twice again, and it's just I still go a little bit like, I don't know.
Well, they don't. That trailer is kind of. I just think it doesn't do anything. I think it introduces a different world and tone, but the problem is, then you see things like Superman is disgraced and people are throwing things at him, which is evocative of what happened in Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, and you're like, how can you do both? And I think it was wrong. We needed some kind of dialogue. That trailer desperately needed. I understand it's a teaser trailer. It's just a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that before Captain America, we'll probably get a bigger trailer. But I still have high hopes for the movie. And, we'll see. I need to see more. I mean, I like the trailer, but like I said on my show, I'm not convinced yet.
No. And it's because I feel like it's trying to, it has this sort of happy-go-lucky feeling to it, and a sort of cartoon vibe.
Yes,
I liked Man of Steel, again, not because it's nihilistic or something, but because of the realism in that.
Yes,
and that's what I think. At least Superman is kind of missing. In my mind, but we'll see how it goes. But to go back to the MCU for a bit, like you said, it's been so disappointing lately, and I agree with that. But I think maybe it's because, and again, I'm not as big on the MCU as most people, but I think it's because MCU fans are just expecting too much today, because the bar has just been set so high. I mean, if you compare Wakanda Forever, just throwing it out there, if you compare Wakanda Forever to Endgame, of course, nothing is going to be as good as Endgame. So I feel like that's a bit unfair to the IP itself, because the bar has just been raised so high that people are just expecting too much? Is that like a weird thought of mine, or?
No, I think there's something to be said there. I mean, Wakanda Forever not having T'Challa was a hard. I thought Wakanda Forever, comparatively speaking, in terms of what we have after Endgame, was pretty good. You know, I mean, it was interesting. Everything in it interested me. You know, I might not have loved it. It might not have been as wildly entertaining, but I was interested in that movie. I'm like, okay, we're seeing the MCU's moving forward, and we've been introduced to a new group of people and Atlantis and all that. But what I really think is there is no, and this is the Marvel Universe's own fault. They set up this expectation that we are going to see these movies, and these movies from the very beginning, we knew after Iron Man was successful and they introduced Thor, we knew they were going to make an Avengers movie. If these movies continued to be good, and they were good, you know, you're watching these and they made you believe in Iron Man, they made you believe in Thor, they made you believe in Captain America, and then they introduced Sam Jackson kind of as the glue that was bringing all this together. So you could anticipate where they were going and look forward to it and know, like, oh, you know, the Avengers are coming. We got Black Widow. Then in the first Avengers, we were introduced to Hulk. And so it was all unfolding. Now these movies are going off in all of these different directions. Like, what does any of this mean? And if you've got this multiverse, to me, like what they did with Loki and the Time Variance Authority really killed my interest in all of it, because that was too sci-fi, too out there. Even with all the Guardians and all that, the way the Time Variance Authority was portrayed was kind of a joke. It was a throwback to, like, okay, it's like the 1940s and we're in a Coen Brothers movie like the Hudsucker Proxy, or it's Terry Gilliam's Brazil. And I'm like, if there really was a Time Variance Authority in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it wouldn't be like this. And I'm like, I don't believe it. And then they've leaned everything into that. And I'm like, this is goofy. This is from a whole different realm. And you've now bet the farm on this. Whether it was Quantum Mania, Thor, Love and Thunder, like what the hell was that? At least in Ragnarok, Asgard was destroyed, and you saw that they were rebuilding an Asgard on Earth, which we saw in Endgame. None of the Eternals, you know, you had the fucking, like, Tiamat's in the water, but then you had Arishem the Judge show up. What did the people of Earth think? Like, after they had to deal with Thanos, there's this gigantic celestial in the sky. I think people on Earth would be killing themselves in mass suicides after Thanos can snap them away. Now there's a gigantic, what does that mean? And apparently he's like, nah, no big deal. We're going on about, there's deviants running around the world. The Eternals are fighting them. Hey, London has, nobody seems to care. And if they don't care, if the people of Earth in the MC, that's almost like, I feel like, if they want us to care about the MCU, the people that live on the Earth in the MCU, like the normal people, they have to care too. Like, we grow as they grow. And I feel like they've never dealt with, what is it like in the MCU universe having to deal with the remnants of what happened with Thanos snapping. We saw a little bit of that in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was really interesting. Like, wow, what happens when you're gone for 5 years and you have no more credit established? How do people live? And they just breeze by all of it, so nobody cares. We want it, and the thing is, we want to care, but you can only care if they give you a reason.
All right, thank you to Cult Cinema 83 and Rob.
Always good to see you, man.
I think it's time to say also goodbye to our friends on YouTube. So
goodbye, YouTube friends.
We usually stream this show for the first couple of hours here, and then we'll continue with the members offline. So is there any announcements for our friends on YouTube that we need to let them know about?
I would say that True Noir, the 4th episode, drops this coming Friday.
Yes.
The episode is called 2 New Clients, and we bring on board a new cast member. Anthony LaPaglia plays Al Capone.
Nice.
And Chris Carr, if you've ever watched the John Campea show and you know who Chris Carr is, yeah. Chris Carr becomes a new female character who hires our Nathan Heller. Her character's name is Marianne Beam, and she's a fictional character, whereas Al Capone is a character right out of history. And it's another great, compelling episode, and the plot really starts rolling.
Sounds good. All right. And then is there a physical media episode tomorrow?
There is.
There is,
And then
okay.
I'll keep doing, as long as I can find things to editorialize and opine about, I'll keep the Robservations train going.
Sounds great. Well, again, thanks everybody for joining us on YouTube. If you are in the chat or in the Zoom call, don't worry about it. We will continue taking calls with Rob. We're just gonna take things off the air from YouTube. So thank you very much, and everybody have a great weekend. And once again, a happy New Year to all of the members of the PGS and to everyone else who's watching. So until next time.